At the beginning of this story, we're taken to 1938, where we see a ship named Queen Mary in the middle of the sea. Inside the ship, there's a room filled with people and horrifyingly, they're all dead. A guard comes in, searching for a woman named Queen. Queen appears, but she's in terrible condition, and moments later, she dies. The person behind this massacre is her own husband, David. He's captured and locked away, but then his daughter arrives and helps him escape. Once free, David goes on to kill even more people. After this tragic incident, the Queen Mary earned a dark reputation as a haunted ship. Passengers claimed they saw the spirits of the dead, haunting anyone who boarded, ruining the ship's image and that of the company for decades. Over time, the ship was turned into a museum. People just come to visit that. Today, a woman named Anna visits the Queen Mary with her young son. She's working on a project to restore the ship's reputation, hoping to bring it back to its former glory. Her husband, Patrick, is also on board. Though they're no longer together, they both love their son deeply. While Anna has a meeting with the ship's captain, Patrick takes their son on a tour. But when they reach the lower level of the ship, Patrick's son suddenly gets separated. The boy calls out for his father, but there's no one around. Then, an elevator in front of him opens automatically, and a card falls from above. Curious, he steps inside to pick it up. It's a fortune card. But before he can step out, the elevator doors close by themselves and take him down to the basement. Down there, he sees the spirit of Queen's daughter, the same girl who helped her father escape all those years ago, leading to the massacre on the ship. Her spirit vanishes, leaving the boy alone. Anna's son cautiously moves forward until he reaches a pool, unaware that a dark shadow is following him. Meanwhile, Anna's son senses someone behind him, so he turns and quickly snaps a photo of the shadow. But before it can attack, Queen's daughter's spirit suddenly appears, pushing the boy in swimming pool. Anna's son, who has a camera around his neck, ends up hanging dangerously over the pool. The shadow moves closer, trying to end him, but the spirit of Queen's daughter pulls him into the water instead. Just then, the ship's captain sees a strange image of a ship passing by on the wall, and realizing something is wrong, he rushes to the pool area and rescues Anna's son. After this, Anna's son is visibly shaken. The captain informs Anna that her project to restore the Queen Mary has been approved. He tells her that she and her husband can return every weekend to continue their work, with plans to fully renovate the ship. The story then flashes back to 1938, where we see David, his wife Queen, and their daughter. David, a former army officer, wears a mask to cover scars from his war injuries. The family isn't allowed in first class, but David learns that a couple who had a reservation for first-class dinner won't be attending. After all, David enters the first-class dining area under the other couple's name and sits at the table with his family. Here, we learn that David's wife, Queen, can tell people's futures by reading fortune cards. As they sit, the couple who actually reserved the table arrives, and the crew realizes David's using someone else's reservation. When they ask him to leave, he clearly refuses, and in the scuffle, his mask falls off, revealing his face. Everyone stares, horrified by his disfigurement. Feeling humiliated, David storms out with Queen. Deeply upset, David heads down to the pool in the ship's basement. Meanwhile, the ship's captain instructs the crew to increase the ship's speed, but the sudden strain causes one of the engines to explode. David returns to his room, where Queen tells him their daughter is missing and urges him to help find her. But David, now with an axe in hand, has changed entirely. Ignoring her pleas, he heads to the washroom. Queen senses something is wrong, but before she can react, David emerges and attacks her with the axe, injuring her badly. Hearing Queen's screams, people from nearby rooms rush in, but David kills them all. News of David's rampage reaches the captain, who is informed that David has finally been captured. However, there's an even bigger problem. The engine has stopped, and water is flooding the ship. The captain reveals to his companion a dark secret: the company was on the brink of bankruptcy when the Queen Mary was built. To ensure the ship's success, they resorted to black magic, burying a man within the walls of the boiler room. Now, because the engine room's walls have cracked, the man's spirit has been released. The captain insists that they must contain this spirit. It cannot be allowed to leave the ship under any circumstances. The captain realizes that the freed spirit has possessed David's body and is trying to escape the ship through him. Determined not to let this happen, he knows that if the spirit leaves, the ship is doomed to sink. David, however, manages to break free and heads for the lifeboats, planning to escape. The captain arrives just in time and, despite his companion's protests, opens fire on David. When his companion tries to stop him, the captain shoots him as well, then shoots David, trapping the spirit on the ship. As the engine roars back to life, the captain, filled with remorse over killing 2 men, punishes himself and ends himself too. Back in the present, Anna and Patrick return to the ship for the weekend, but the captain insists they can't work without their son, Lucas, with them. After Anna and Patrick plead with him, he reluctantly agrees. After some time she goes in a room, Anna unwraps a bandage on her hand, revealing a scar. She recalls how, after returning home with Lucas, he seemed completely different. One day, she found him staring out the window, standing on the ledge. She called him to come inside, but he refused, saying he'd never go back to that ship because of the terrifying spirits he'd seen there. When Anna reached out to him through the window, it suddenly slammed shut on her hand, injuring her badly. The entire incident left her deeply shaken. That night, while sleeping in her room on the ship, Anna begins to feel uneasy. Strange noises wake her, and she reaches for her phone, only to find it's broken. Suddenly, a hand reaches out from inside the phone and grabs her by the throat. Desperate, she stabs at the hand with a pen, but the hand vanishes, causing her to accidentally injure herself further. When she looks around, she sees the room filled with corpses. Horrified, she screams loudly. Patrick rushes in, terrified at the sight of Anna in such a state. He leads Anna to the counter across the ship. As they stand there, she confides in him, "When my son was out on the railing, I saw something, someone else's spirit inside him." Anna had witnessed the presence of a spirit, and it wasn't just any spirit, it was the soul of David's daughter. This was the same spirit that had saved their son by the pool earlier. But something dark happened. When that spirit saved him, it entered their son, leaving Lucas's soul behind. In that moment, Lucas's soul was trapped on the ship. They had come here, to this very place, searching for him. Meanwhile, the ship's captain watches from a distance. He's been keeping an eye on them, and something doesn't sit right. Suspicious of their movements, he pulls out his revolver and begins following them. Anna and Patrick make their way down to the ship's basement. There, they find a camera his son's camera, the one he used to capture that evening. They carefully remove the film, hoping it might hold crucial evidence. As Patrick scans the area, he notices something chilling. Beneath the floor, there's a hidden chamber. Inside it, he finds signs of something sinister. Someone had been buried there. It's a grim discovery, and Patrick realizes that dark rituals, possibly black magic, were involved. Suddenly, Anna sees something horrifying in the pool: blood. But that's not all, she also spots the spirit of her son, Lucas. She's about to rush toward him, but just as she moves forward, the captain appears and blocks their path. The truth is, the captain knows everything. He understands that the spirit of David's daughter entered their son's body, and he's the one who brought them here. His goal was always the same: to reunite them with their son, but at a cost they never saw coming. Once again, the captain captures the spirits of the Queen and David's daughter aboard the ship, but he refuses to bring their son, Lucas, to them. He tells Patrick and Anna, "If you bring your son here, I'll imprison the spirit inside him once more and return your son's soul to you." But Patrick won't have it. He holds up the camera roll, the one his son used to take that fateful photo. "I'll show this to the world," Patrick warns the captain. "I'll expose the truth about this ship." This sends the captain into a furious rage. Without hesitation, he pulls his revolver and fires, but somehow, Patrick manages to escape. Meanwhile, Anna, desperate to find her son's soul, is confronted by the spirits of Lucas, David, and the Queen. Lucas speaks to his mother, telling her, "I want you to stay with us here, on this ship." But Anna refuses. She knows the only way to free Lucas's soul is for it to leave the ship, but to do that, it needs a living body to move through. The next morning, we see Anna and Patrick, visibly relieved, walking together with a strange sense of peace. They've done it. They now carry the souls of the Queen and David inside them, and with that, Lucas's spirit is finally at rest, reunited with his parents in death. Before leaving the ship, they discard the camera roll in the trash. It's a final act of leaving the past behind until they step off the ship and are immediately confronted by the police. Anna and Patrick are arrested, accused of murdering their son. The truth about what happened is finally revealed. When Lucas was hanging from the window, Anna realized that his body wasn't truly his anymore. There was another spirit inside him. In that instant, Lucas lost his grip, slipping to his death. Their neighbor witnessed the entire thing and told the police everything. That's why Anna and Patrick were charged with their son's murder. But the story doesn't end there. The truth about the ship and its dark secrets remains buried. Tourists continue to visit the ship, now a museum, unaware that the spirits of Anna, Patrick, and Lucas still linger. They are forever bound together on that cursed ship, and no one knows the real story. And so, the film closes, leaving us with a chilling thought: sometimes the truth is darker than anyone could imagine.